So, what should you know about earnest money? Earnest money is just one of the many terms to know when it comes to buying a home. It's something you might initially overlook, but understanding earnest money can create some roadblocks actually in the home buying process once you're ready to make that offer. In simple terms, earnest money is a deposit that you put down to show that you're serious about buying the house. You want to show the seller that you really do want the home. And earnest money might be anywhere from 1% to 5% of the total purchase price. It just helps to sweeten your offer, to show the seller, and it shows them that you're ready to buy their home. Then in exchange for the earnest money, the seller will take their home off the market and you'll both start to work on things like the next steps, like an inspection. Earnest money goes into an escrow account. And that's just, until it closes. So the escrow account is usually held with either the closing attorney or a title company. They're essentially securely storing your money until you're closing. Then that earnest money is subtracted from the total you owe, and it goes towards your closing costs. So how much earnest money should you offer? Again, earnest money is typically anywhere between 1% and 5% of the price that you agree on with the seller. There's a lot of variance in this though, depending on how expensive the house is and how sure you are that you're going to close. In seller markets like the one we're in right now, you can see very high earnest money deposits. Remember, the higher the deposit, the sweeter the offer. So that's why people are really sticking their necks out. But make sure that your earnest money is protected by the language in the contract and dates in the contract. Now, earnest money is not a down payment. This can be an area of confusion for some buyers. So your down payment is fully separate from the earnest money. And it can be anywhere from 3.5% to 10 to 20% of your home's purchase price. So you need to make sure that when you're thinking about how much money you need to buy that house, that you'll be adding up the earnest money and your down payment. So your earnest money is due when you make an offer, usually like within 3 days. And in some cases, you can offer an additional earnest money, like after the successful inspection. You're all good, so you're ready to put more money down. So earnest money is put down at the contract while your down payment and closing costs are due later. So is earnest money refundable? Well, when you enter in a purchase agreement, it will outline all the contingencies. It's all about the language in the contract. So there are situations that you agree upon where you can walk away from the deal and still get your earnest money back. So make sure about that. So for example, you might have an appraisal contingency. In case the appraisal is lower than the sales price, these are the contingencies that we write into your contract so you can get your money back. Before we present it, we actually make sure we do that before. So if it's a highly competitive market, you might agree to even do some non-refundable earnest money. And that's risky because if the sale falls through, the seller gets to keep your money. But if you break the terms of the purchase agreement or you decide not to buy the house anymore, the seller can also keep your earnest money. So this is important, to why you would want to work with an experienced agent. We'll help you understand everything you need to know before you sign anything, because otherwise you could end up losing the deal and losing your earnest deposit, money that potentially you can't afford. So remember, we post every weekday, so like our post or our page, and you'll be able to get these tips and updates on your local Sarasota market. All right, thanks again. Bye for now.